Hi, this is Eddie Hearn, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Faisal Khan for Lights Out, proudly sponsored by Spartans Law. We're here in London for this week's huge fight week at the O2 Arena on Easter Sunday, where Fabio Wardle will defend his British and Commonwealth title against Frasier Clarke. But I'm delighted to announce I'm joined by who I'd like to still consider as the voice of boxing, Mr. Adam Smith. Adam, it's been a while. Firstly, how you doing?
Hi Faisal, nice to see you. I'm good. I'm healthy again, which is the main thing for my family, and it's nice being back around the scene. I've missed it. It's been a long time away. Had a brutal battle with bladder cancer, and it's tough, but ultimately I'm just really grateful to be alive, to be here, and to be seeing my old friends from Sky, seeing the old boxing community, and watching fights still. And I'm working for TalkSport this weekend, which I'm really excited about. I did AJ for BBC out in Saudi, which was good fun, and I've taken a couple of positions in companies, which has been exciting with Summit Sports and GBM Sports. So I'm going to try and help give back, and I want to be around sportsmen and women, maybe even more than I was in my Sky days. So just nice to be back, nice to be doing some work again, and obviously for my three kids, they got their dad back.
Before we talk about boxing, I can relate to what you've been through because I lost my father to cancer. I know how difficult that battle is, Adam. Within that time, what did you learn about life itself? And and I'm so glad to hear that you've overcome cancer now. But what's your mentality like now? Now that you've been through cancer, you're a survivor of cancer, and going forward in the sort of back in your boxing career, what is it that you're looking to do differently now in life, Adam?
Well, it's a really interesting question. Every day I look in the mirror, I've got a stoma bag, right? So I've got something I have to live with forever, and it's a reminder of how amazing the doctors were and how lucky I was. So I think, I guess I'm more grateful. I've been working out a lot in the food bank in Acton, and also with the homeless. So I want to give back, and my passion is sport. My passion is boxing, obviously, and I want to help the sportswomen and sportsmen as best I can. It's why I joined Summit Sports, because I think we're going to make a difference to athletes going forward. It's why I've joined GBM Sports, a young promotional company looking to do big things. So I want to give back, whether it's advice or knowledge from my experience of nearly 30 years in the most iconic place of Sky Sports, and which I miss dearly. But you know what? I think life is very precious, and I think my perspective has really changed. And during many months in hospital and recovering from chemo and all the rest of it, I did spend a lot of time with my family and my children, and I think being present with them and sort of being closer to them than maybe I was before, I think things like that, I just want to try and give back, I think, more than I did before. You're rushing around, I was exhausted, I think, so much going on work-wise, and I guess it's that balance of life. It's trying to find a bit of peace, a bit of serenity, and realizing that you're not here for long. So I'm very grateful. I very nearly died on a couple of occasions, and I'm thankful to my gold star of doctors, the incredible nurses and in the NHS and the amazing hospitals I was at. And it's just a new perspective. It's a new life, and it's just been nice. The boxing community have been fantastic. I've been really well supported and had some wonderful messages from all the top guys, from Tyson to AJ to Katie, all of them. And my visit, people came through. Ben was through my hospital door very early. So was Eddie. The Warrens reached out, the Sauerlands. So I've been really, really well supported by all angles in the boxing world, and it's nice. There's a lot of sort of knives out and jostling for position in the boxing world. But when something like this happens, and it's you're fighting for your life, it's really nice to know there's people out there that are supporting, and and you fight hard. I guess I was never brave enough to get into a ring, but I had my own fight, and it's nice when, Derek Chisora, David Hay, the fighters I saw out in Saudi, come up to me and said, you're a gladiator, you're a warrior, you had your own fight, and it was hard, it was really tough, but I'm glad to have got through it, and I'm cancer free, and I just want to enjoy every day and make it matter. And if that's sort of giving back, which is what I want to do to athletes, the sportswomen and sportsmen that I love, that have adorned my walls for years, that I've been privileged enough to commentate on, then if I can just help them a little bit more, I'd really like to do that.
Well, nonetheless, it's great to see that you've come through cancer. You know, you're healthy now. You're back doing what you love best. You've got a new adventure with Summit Sports. You're working closely with GBM Sports as well. You know, when I look at Adam Smith, I remember the guy that done the documentary on Prince Naz's fight out in New York. They're very fond memories, but as you said, you are now on to new horizons. Yeah. So talk to us about the new potential fond memories that Adam Smith is going to bring to boxing.
Well, I think, as I said, it's working with the fighters closer. Summit Sports, brilliant. Ollie Weingarten came to me. He had an idea of trying to look after athletes a bit better in a sort of 360 way. And we talked a lot, and he got a really good team together. And we launched a few weeks ago. We had a big event party this week for it, which was really well attended by fighters. We haven't just got boxing, though. We've got other verticals, motorsport. We've got a young Carter who we believe is going to go a long, long way. And we've got also influencers, a gaming sort of side. And we've already got a group of them. So we're up and running. We're open for business. And, I think we look forward to working with different athletes from around the world, men, women, at the young stages of their careers, or maybe even at the more experienced stages, because I believe that a boxing career or any sporting career is short. And I think that it's really important for those athletes to know that there is life after, that there will be many years in retirement. I'm just looking over at Spencer Oliver. At 22, 23, his career was finished, right? We took him into Sky, and the media has become his life for the last 25 years. And I think that a lot of fighters, a lot of sportsmen and women will have that difficult transition into life after. So if there's any way that we can help, and we're sort of an all-in-one sort of shop. We can't fight for them. We can't even train them. But what we can do is be right by their side, holding their hand, helping them with commercial stuff, legal stuff, mental health, also sort of wealth management, and a career and a life beyond sport. So sort of preparing them as we go. And I think my experience with Savannah Marshall and Daniel Altmaier at Sky, as Sky's two Sky scholars that I work really closely with, I think they hopefully benefited from that Sky business experience where, okay, they were boxers or tennis players, but they started to learn that there's life outside. And I know Daniel, for example, now is mid-20s, and he had a terrible fall, during his time with me in the tennis rankings because of injury. But he sort of stuck with it. Now he's got into the top 50 odd in the world. He's in the big tournaments, but he's realised that there is life beyond tennis, and I think that's really important. So anything I can do to help those athletes, obviously on the media side and the broadcasting side, but just to be there at the end of a phone, or be there to champion them, and also on bad days when it's rainy, when it's tough, when there's a defeat, how to sort of help pick themselves back up and go again. And because I've hit my rock bottom through what I went through with the cancer and nearly didn't make it, I think that I'm in a even better position now maybe to offer that advice and to help support and to maybe put some perspective on things. So I really want to get going with, we're working ferociously already. Ollie and Duncan and Ben and Oakley and Sarah and I, the initial team of Summit, and we're really excited. Michael Watson was there for our event the other night, which was fantastic. We've got some big announcements coming in the next few weeks with athletes, which is really exciting. And then, I've known Izzy for a while. I saw him again at a Johnny Nelson Foundation dinner a few weeks ago, and he said to me, "Do you want to commentate on my show in Sheffield?" And I said, "I hear they're pretty good, your shows." And I went, and I was blown away. I thought the production was incredible. I thought the fights were really good. There were some 50-50s. There were some great stories. It was packed. The fans were there from beginning to the end. The atmosphere was electric. I thought I quite liked this. And there's a nice story, a side story as well, because his main sort of right-hand man, Mitch Costello, his dad used to work with us at Sky, Lee, a great guy, and unfortunately he died young, also cancer, and Mitch was a young boy at the time, so I've always sort of wondered what was going to happen with Mitch, and he got into the boxing world, and now we're going to be working together. So that's a really nice story, and I love Izzy. I think he's infectious. I think he's charismatic. He was a fighter himself. He's got really big plans, and it's great. And if I can give some help, some advice, some guidance, some knowledge to a young promotional company, then that's really cool as well. So yeah, some stuff behind the mic, some advising, helping, mentoring, trying to give back. I think that's the key word, just give back. And that's what I think the perspective of everything that's gone on through for me and my family in the last sort of year and a half. It's made me very fortunate to have life, and very fortunate to be in a position where, because of the experiences I've had and the lovely opportunities and amazing times at Sky, I've got the chance to give back to athletes who just may need a helping hand from time to time, and I can't wait to do that.
Well, as I said, you're back in the sport now, and you're here for what promises to be a huge, exciting night of boxing, especially on the Easter Sunday, which means we might have to potentially miss 2 big games in the title race. And I love talking about football with you, but it is what it is. The show must go on.
I can't miss Liverpool Brighton. I'm going to have to watch Liverpool as well, and I'm going to have plenty of chocolate too on Easter Sunday. But yeah, look, it's a fantastic event, isn't it? It's a big fight. It's a big bill. It's a great show for boxer, and what a wonderful main event. The heavyweights collide. It's a total pick'em. You walk around the room here, and people are waking up saying it's Frasier Clarke, and others are waking up saying it's Fabio Wardley. People are shifting around. That's what you want before a big fight. You know, that unknown. 2 guys who are characters. There's been a really good build-up to it. It's a heavyweight fight. No one knows what's going to happen, and you can't really predict a winner. So I think when you get something like that, and they call it bad blood or whatever, for me it's just a great British heavyweight title fight with a fantastic card in London, Easter Sunday. What a great day to do it.
100%. And obviously I remember speaking to you out in Manchester when Frasier made his debut. I believe it was on the Khan Brook card. There's a lot of people saying that, you know, he didn't take the fight when he was first opposed to him, that Ben pulled him out of the purse bids. But do you believe that it's all about timing with Frasier Clarke, and do you look at this fight and think now is the right time to take this fight with Fabio Wardle?
In my opinion, boxing's all about timing and about levels. Those are the 2 things that it's about. You look at the situation with Dalton Smith and Adam Azim, 2 fabulous young fighters, but Dalton Smith's ahead of Adam Azim in terms of professional experience and also amateur too. And I think that fight is a fight that's in the melting pot for down the line. And I thought Dalton Smith was brilliant the other night. I think Adam Azim is a fantastic talent, maybe just needs to be nurtured a little more. So I think it is about timing. And the difficulty with Frasier is that he's older, because he was an amateur for many cycles in Team GB. He's got incredible pedigree, fantastic experience, and also from being ringside. And he was in security for a long time as well. He saw all the big fights, not even just the major experience he had in sparring and in competition for Team GB. But he's got to accelerate a little bit quicker, maybe a bit like Joe Joyce did, because they're older. So yeah, there is pressure on Frasier. I think that they probably wanted to wait a little longer. They feel this is the right time. There's big pressure on those big shoulders, but that's what he wants. I don't think he's performed to the best of his ability as a pro. I think that's pretty obvious to see. I think he needs a fight like this, but has he got enough as a professional in terms of seasoning to deal with a guy like Fabio Wardley, who didn't have the experience, a white collar fighter, but who's got incredible momentum and is almost becoming this sort of terrific professional fighter, fight after fight, and just looks terrific. So I can see Fabio being a slight favourite going in, but it's a great opportunity for the pair of them. And what I love is that they're prepared to take this, and whoever wins, whoever loses, I'm sure they can dance again, and there'll be other avenues to pursue. But I think there's more pressure for Frasier tomorrow night, but I think that's the position he'd like to be in.
I probably need about a good hour with you just to catch up on everything that's happened since you've been gone. But so much has happened since you've been away, and a lot of positives have come out of it. One of those positives being Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren are now currently working together. Saudi have had a huge influence on boxing. What have you made of how Turki Alalshikh has managed to shake things up? But more importantly, how good is it for boxing that we can now finally see 2 of the biggest promoters in Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren finally bashing their heads together, working together, and putting on these great 50-50 fights that we've got to look forward to?
Boxing never ceases to amaze. Expect the unexpected always. I mean, how many times did Eddie say he'll never speak to Frank when I was with him? How many times did I get the message that he never wanted to see Eddie? And Yeah, business is business. Turki Alalshikh and Dr. Rakan have done an amazing job in Saudi. We obviously went there 5 years ago now with AJ for the Ruiz rematch, and it's all happening out there. The big fights are being made. It's great for the heavyweights particularly, but it's great for fighters knowing that they've got that platform, that stage. Also important in Britain, like these, to keep these big fight nights going. Dalton Smith last weekend. Hamza Shariz, the Wardley Clarke fight, Lauren Price soon, and world title fight. There's loads happening, but I think it's brilliant for boxing that Saudi have come in. And I guess when it was a little bit with HBO and Showtime going out of America and things sort of moving slightly, things shift in boxing. It's cyclical, it moves around, and it's great what they're doing in Saudi. They're getting the big events together. It's fantastic to be out there. I've been to a couple now and really enjoyed them, and it's brilliant to see the movement, the change that's happening, and the young kids as well that are getting inspired are in the gyms out there. So yeah, there's it's fantastic the big events are happening there. It's obviously for people like Fabio Wardle and Frasier Clarke, they want to get into that mix. I think it's equally important that we don't forget the British nights here, the big nights here at the O2, at the Manchester Arena, at Wembley. Nights like that are very important for the British fans to come out for as well. Yes, travel is exciting, it's different, but not everyone can afford to get out there. I think it's important that we do have plenty of boxing on our shores, but the Saudis have done a great job, and I think Turkey absolutely loves boxing, which is fantastic to see. I had the pleasure of meeting His Excellency in December before the AJ Valin, or around the AJ Valin card, and going to see them, and they're putting these big plans into practice, and quickly. And look, it's the 5 against 5. It's Patebiev and Bivol. It's talking about a big event in England. There's lots of things happening. So you can't sit still, and it's great. It's great for boxing. Most importantly for the fighters, but also the fans are getting it, and the TV channels, the stations, the radio. Everyone's covering boxing. It's a time where you want to be a young fighter and get involved, male or female.
One final one before I let you go, because I know there's a lot of people that want to speak to you, and I can speak to you all day long, but got to be fair to everyone else. Is His Excellency the man to deliver the fight that everybody wants to see, which is Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, given Tyson Fury can get past Alexander Usyk and May 18th? Do you believe that this is the guy that will get that mega fight to finally happen, Adam?
I do. I think Turkey will make it happen, but I also think it's very important that Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are working together. So it will happen, providing Fury beats Usyk, which is a big if. It's a very dangerous fight for Tyson Fury. He knows that, which is why he'll be in impeccable shape, I'm sure. The cut was a worry, the performance against Ngannou was a worry, but he's a much bigger guy than Alexander Usyk. He'll need the best Tyson Fury on May the 18th, no doubt about that, because Alexander Usyk is a wonderful, wonderful technician and fighter, and on his day when he gets in a rhythm, he could easily win that fight. But Fury's bigger, he thinks he's better. I think they're both great. Normally a good big un beats a good little un, but you just don't know with that timing and what Tyson Fury will be in the ring. The best Tyson Fury is needed, and the best Alexander Usyk is needed. If Fury gets through that fight, then there looks like a rematch, or I don't know how it will work, but AJ is definitely in prime position. I don't want Anthony to wait around, though. I like the fact he's got momentum under Ben Davison. I thought his performance against Otto Volin was tip-top. He listened to Ben. He executed the game plan fantastically. I don't think he got enough credit for that win. And then against Ngannou, he went in and just did a job on him. He absolutely dismantled him. He showed obviously the difference between being a boxer of that status, a two-time world champion and a novice, and he dealt with Francis Ngannou in a way that maybe Tyson Fury should have done. But look, styles make fights in different situations. Fury definitely overlooked Ngannou, and I think that Joshua didn't and got it right. So we're all set for Fury AJ down the line. Personally, I hope we get one out there and one here, or maybe even a trilogy. But we need to move it for, we can't wait too long. We should have had how many Mayweather Pacquiao's? We got one, and that was too late. We don't want it to be too long, so let's just wait and see. But I think it will happen, yes.
Johnny.
There he is. Hey, brother. You good?
How good is it to see this man
separated
back?
At birth. You don't understand. I'm Stalkerville. Whenever he's there, I think, oh, Adam's back. Always good. It's always good.
How good is it to see him back?
Always good. Always good. He's like, listen, he was the guy that got me into this game here. And if anybody knows this side of the ropes better than anybody, this adds.
I just asked him the question: is Turki Alalshikh the man to finally deliver?
Sorry?
Is Turki Alalshikh the man to deliver Fury versus AJ?
He is. You know what? You look at what's happening in Saudi now, it's a complete flip on its head. It's a new Vegas. You know, where the big fights are happening, and I'm surprised the Americans haven't jumped on board that yet. You know, you're getting the big Americans out there. A lot of them out there just wanted to get in the mix. But you know, dreams are being answered, fights are being given, put on the plate for fans to get. And I know people will complain about it being in Saudi Arabia, but no matter what arena there is, people are still going to watch it on TV. And when they watch it on TV, they still get the fights they want. That's the game we're in.
Adam mentioned his battle against cancer. We've also spoken how big mental health is in boxing. So I want to get your guys' opinion on something. We've got a big fight coming up between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia's actions on social media have made a lot of people question his mental health going into that fight. Are you concerned about Ryan Garcia and the way he's been acting on social media? And is that a fight you would consider pulling or maybe even postponing?
Unfortunately, we only see what we see. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So it's a bit harsh of us to make assumptions. What we see, we're uncomfortable with. You can go with assumptions. I think the people around him, if they're doing the right job, doing their job, then they'll do what's best for him. And if it's for him to box, then it's to box. They'll think his behaviour won't affect his performance. If they're not doing the job, he will have a breakdown in the fight because your emotions are heightened that much in a fight. Do you remember Oliver McCall against
Lex Lewis?
Against Lex Lewis, he broke down because your emotions have to be that high. So if Ryan Garcia isn't in a good place, you'll see it come
Did
fight.
you ever have a moment through your career where you thought I shouldn't be here?
Carlos de Leon. I can remember when I watched Carlos de Leon, 22 years old, a boy in a man's body, fighting for the WBC title. I knew I shouldn't have been. I wasn't mentally mature enough to deal with such responsibility. And if I'd ever won, I'd have probably lost it in my next defence. I was a kid. I was a boy in a man's body, but it was a great opportunity. I understand that, and I see what's happening with Ryan Garcia. And again, you know, you just got to know the facts of what's happening behind closed doors. It's worrying, but you just got to wait and see.
Adam, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, and we don't know really what is happening. All we do, Johnny and I, are seeing what's being publicised and what goes on social media. You know, we're not around him, so we can't really comment on what state he's in. But as Johnny said, you've got to be mentally and physically right to get into any fight, I think, let alone a fight as big as that. So the people around him, the people that care about him, have got to make that decision with him. So, and sometimes, I mean, that's what a corner's there for during a fight. It's to save and protect your man. That's their responsibility as well as to win a fight. They've got to protect their guy, and that's why it's difficult sometimes when a towel goes in or a corner, you know, rightly in the majority of cases stops the fight because they're protecting their guy. The same as with mental health. You know, if you're around somebody who's not in the right place, then you've got to make the call early on that this shouldn't happen. But we don't know. Maybe it's, you know, there's so many twists and turns and games and things that are played around on social media that not being around the situation is very difficult to commentate on or comment on. But Johnny's right, you know, fighters cover up as well. You know, I bet Johnny didn't say to Brendan that he didn't want to fight Carlos de Leon. It was an opportunity, of course, life through your teeth. So it's a difficult one. It's a very difficult situation. Just got to hope he's mentally and physically right, because if he is, it's a cracking fight, and I can't wait for it.
One final one before I let you guys go. Predict Sunday night's main event for me. The British and Commonwealth title. Who leaves with the British and Commonwealth titles?
If I didn't know what I know, that what Fraser does behind closed doors, who he's sparred with, the pedigree of fighters that he's worked with for years, if I didn't know that, I would lean towards Fabio. But because I do know that, I lean towards Fraser. And the reason why I say that, I think the amateurs and the pros are two completely different games. I had 13 amateur fights. I won 3. When I turned professional, the amount of Olympians.
It's a bad number for you, 3, isn't it?
The amount of Olympians I beat, the amount of national champions I beat as professionals, and so they couldn't understand how can this kid that's had such limited amateur experience do such a thing to these guys as pros. So do not be fooled by the pedigree, looking at the pedigree of one white collar fighter against one established amateur. You've got to look at what they're doing behind closed doors. And the reason why I go with Fraser is because I know who he's sparred with. I know what he's been doing for many, many years. I know that a lot of these big names you're looking at, Fraser's been in there with them. So he actually has more experience with these guys, more than Fabio does. But Fabio just does it he's done his career on a public level.
Adam, your prediction?
I slightly disagree with Johnny, which isn't a change, but I think Johnny learnt the professional business on the road. I think he took himself away after the De Leon fight. He had 4 or 5 years where he learnt really what it was all about being a professional fighter, and then he really accelerated through his career. I think the massive gap in pedigree here should really favour Frasier Clarke for a victory. However, Frasier hasn't looked good as a professional, and Fabio Wardley has looked fantastic fight after fight. He's got momentum, he's got the confidence, he's got power, and he's still a bit of an unknown quantity, Wardley, because of the white collar background. You know what you got with Frasier? He's been in with the best as an amateur. He won't freeze. He'll love this occasion. He'll train very, very hard for it. I think if Frasier's mind's right, I think his pedigree can win in this fight. But I think it's going to be very, very tough.
Johnny Nelson, Adam Smith, thank you very much for your time. Pleasure as always. Thank you for talking to Lightside.